Welcome. My name is Craig Strong, and I'm the CTO of Ariel Partners. We are an Atlassian Silver Partner and Verified Government Partner, and we provide training, coaching, and consulting to enable our customers to achieve true business agility. Now, today I'm going to give you a brief demonstration of some of the ways we configure Jira for our customers to help their teams make the most out of their Jira investment. So first, just a bit about me. I'm an Agile coach, and I hold several Atlassian certifications. My company, Ariel Partners, is a woman-owned small business located in Times Square, New York City. And we work with federal and New York City agencies, as well as commercial companies. And most recently, we trained 1,200 Air Force personnel in Jira and Agile. So we have a ton of lessons learned and great examples to show, but today we'll review just a few specific ways we've configured Jira to maximize agility. To do this, we have simulated a product development team for an aircraft maintenance system. Now, our example would demonstrate scaling, how to supercharge your stand-ups, enforcing governance, and finally, a better way of doing backlog refinement. So let's navigate over to our sample project. Now, the first thing we need to do is to understand our scope at a high level. Now, to do that, we use the Structure for Jira plugin over here on the left. It gives us a nice way to capture all the requirements in a hierarchy so we can identify a set of high-level features above the epic level. Now, we can use features for the big chunks of the scope and then assign epics to specific releases and then have their child user stories assigned to a specific sprint. So now let's jump over to the Agile board, the Agile delivery board. Okay, so in the Scrum team, we're all going to meet in front of this board every day for our stand-up. So we want our board to be as informative as possible. Now you can see here we have user stories in green, we have documents in blue, bugs in red, and technical tasks in gray. Now take a look at the quick filters above the board. Now from here we can pinpoint issues we should be focusing on without having to go to any separate reports. It's all right here. So we can see any issues that are blocked. Let's check that out. Aha, we do have an issue that's blocked, and furthermore we can see the issue that's blocking this issue in right there on the front of the card. So we can see that number 2 is being blocked by number 34. And sure enough, if we go and look for the blockers, we can see 34 is a blocker, meaning it is blocking something else. We can also see urgent issues, anything with the highest priority. We better be looking at that. Now, finally, with all of this work in progress, oftentimes there's one person who's assigned a lot of work. You know, there's that one person that kind of been there for a long time, they know everything, and they can become a bottleneck. So let's check that out. With JQL, we can find out who is that bottleneck person. And sure enough, we can see, if you look here, aha, it's Amir Kapoor. Amir is on 3 different cards. So let's see what else we have. Carried over, so that means anything that's been carried over from a previous sprint that was assigned to a previous sprint and did not complete. We better focus on those and get those done. That would be embarrassing to have to carry them over again. So fortunately, we don't have any of those. That's great. Now, what about taking a look at what's changed, right? We looked at this yesterday. We want to see what's happened since yesterday. Well, you can see any cards that have recently moved to a different column and any cards that have recently been updated, whether they've been moved or not. Finally, we can look at things like stale, slow. So stale, what does stale mean? Well, it hasn't been touched in over 2 days. So we don't have any of those, thank goodness. Slow, what does that mean? Well, anything, normally we want all of our user stories to be done from start to finish within 1 week in a 2-week sprint. So slow is going to show us anything that's taken more than a week to work its way across the board. And those we should be focusing on right after the blocked issues and the urgent issues. So you can see, and of course, we can also see anomalies like things that have been added after the sprint start. So you can see with all these quick filters, we can really zero in and we can have much more productive stand-ups. All right, what's next? Well, Jira enables us to set up our workflows to get just the right combination of enforcement and flexibility. So you can see here that nothing in this workflow, nothing can be closed normally unless it's been approved first. However, we can, of course, abandon something. Maybe we find it's a duplicate or that kind of stuff becomes obsolete. So when something gets approved, we want to capture who approved it. And of course, once something's approved, we can deploy it normally. So let's take a look at that. So we've got something in review here, and we want to record the fact that it's been approved. So we drag this over, and sure enough, we get a pop-up saying who approved this. So we can put in, Jules is the approver. We can put a little comment here, comment, and record the fact that this has been approved. Now, once it's been approved, we can then move it and deploy it into production. Now, notice that there are two different places we can go. So things can be deployed, or we can say, you know what, we changed our mind, we realized at the last second that it's obsolete or it's a duplicate, anything like that. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and deploy it. And you can see how it just deploys automatically, sets the fields correctly, and indicates it's resolved and all that stuff. But if we took something here from to do and suddenly realized that that we need to abandon it, notice how we're going to get a pop-up saying, look, why did you abandon this? What's going on here? So you can say, well, it's actually a duplicate, whatever it is. So that's how we can have just the right combination of governance and flexibility. Now, last but not least, we want to improve our systems analysis, our analysis process. And Scrum calls this backlog refinement. Now, fortunately, Jira enables us to create a separate board for just that. So let's check this out. Here we have the discovery board. So this is our discovery board. It will be used by the designers and the analysts to make sure they have stories ready ahead of time for the development team. So we're going to start with wireframing and then go to visual design. Notice how we're using colors in a different way here. So as soon as we identify any user stories, click here, having stories, we color the epics orange. And any epic that does not yet have any identified stories, we color in green. And that's because at any point in this process, we can start to identify user stories. In fact, we usually it's peeling the onion and identifying the stories all the way through the analysis process until we get to done. So these are the epics. Remember in this project, we have features followed by epics and then user stories. So let us review what we talked about today. We first demonstrated a lightweight scaling approach using the Structure for Jira plugin. Second, we demonstrated how to configure Agile boards to supercharge our stand-ups. Third, we showed how to enforce policies while still providing a lot of flexibility in our Jira workflows. And finally, we demonstrated the use of a separate discovery board to improve backlog refinement. So that's our demo. And to wrap up, here is a list of Ariel's Atlassian offerings. Now, our Jira Jumpstart is designed to help teams get started the right way with Jira, or to help move your existing Jira instance up to the next level. And with that, I would like to thank you very much for your time.